To the Murray City Municipal Council Committee of the Whole, September 2nd, 2025. I would like to excuse Paul Pickett, Councilmember Paul Pickett. Everyone else is here, other council members, Jennifer, the mayor. We have Greg and Matt up here, as well as Patty. The first thing on our agenda item today is the approval of the minutes of the workshop July 28th, 2025, and Committee of the Whole, August 5th, 2025. I will take a motion in a second. Or any corrections?
Yeah, I have some corrections that I mentioned to staff.
Do we need to?
Those councils?
No, it's for this meeting.
Oh, the workshop?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's the workshop.
Yes.
So.
Can you just say the page that it was
Yes,
on, just
so
so
we can-
everyone knows?
Yeah, so page 6 of
Yeah.
the workshop minutes,
Uh-huh.
there's just an awkwardly worded sentence. And so the grammarian in me came out.
Okay. Anything else in any of
So at the
the
bottom of page 6.
bottom? Okay. Anything else on, yep, okay. So I will take a motion and a second.
A motion to approve the minutes of the workshop, July 28th, 2025, and Committee of the Whole, August 5th, 2025.
With changes.
With changes, thank you.
I'll second.
Okay. Well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say
Aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Seeing there is none, the minutes are approved. Okay, our first discussion item is our power department with Greg Ballon. He's in.
Committee of the Whole, was that part of it?
You bundled them, right?
Yes.
Motion.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear the second.
Yeah, Committee of the Whole, August 5th, 2025. Okay, our first discussion is with Power Department report, Greg Ballon with Matt Young. Thank you.
Thanks for having us here today. We seem like we were just here a second ago, so
Where?
last week, right? I think we're just going to kind of talk about some of the things that were talked about at the UAMPS members conference. And I know one that probably caught a little bit of attention. We'll go right into it. So this is what Mason. This is his. I kind of pared down his presentation just a little bit, but these are the values that UAMPS is looking at. I'm going to go through these pretty quick to get to the meat. So right now, if you look at the middle circle, deliver low cost, reliable power to members, and you've got EDAM, which we're going to talk about a little bit. New large loads, project-based membership model, transmission, developing new generation, and regulatory and statutory uncertainty. So that's just some of the things that's on their minds. But as we get into this, okay, you would have heard about all requirements. This is something that got talked about a year ago. All right, it got talked about
The UM's toolkit
meeting in the spring, and I think it talked about at the end of the, maybe someone hit it on the December meeting, but we'll kind of bring it back to the forefront again. So what this is right now we're in project based, and so we get to kind of pick and choose what projects we're in, depending on what we want, how we want to see Murray go forward. They started talking about something that's called all requirements, and what that means is the members commit to purchase all wholesale power from UAMPS. And when that first got pitched, it's like, that's an interesting thought. Because for one, I mean, if they're handling all of that, that means we can focus more on just running the power department and distribution to our residents. And so, it's just kind of been bouncing around. They have an ad hoc committee and they wanted me to chair that, so I'm chairing that right now. But they'll have both models. We can stay in our project base if we want. We can explore what it would be to all requirements, pros and cons both ways. So we're not committed. I mean, we're committed to the project base right now because that's what we're in. But we'll look at it as we go down this road. And I think what maybe caught your attention is first off, we'll talk about why. Diverse member needs require flexibility. Wholesale markets are changing. That's probably the biggest thing, and we're going to hit a little bit about. Matt will talk about that with EDAM just a little bit. And it's just
Craig, can you
Yes.
go back?
Yeah, you bet. How far back?
Right there.
Okay.
Okay, so members commit to purchase all wholesale power from UAMPS. This is just up for consideration, right?
Oh, yeah, no, so that, I think that's probably what, you guys saw all requirements, they're requiring us to go to this. No. So that's just the name of this new option that they're putting forward to all UM's members. It's
Okay,
called-
if we don't want to mess with it, they'll do it all for us.
Yes,
Basically.
yeah. So they would take all our resources and we would just let them make, so what it's good for is, they can go out and economies of scale, right? So they can probably do it better than if we're just out trying to do a megawatt here and a megawatt there. They can do 100 megawatts at a time and get probably a little better than we can on our own. So it's just called all requirements because that just means they provide everything for us. So UMPA, we've been to Provo. That's totally what UMPA does. That's all requirements. That they don't offer a project base with them. So Provo, Nephi, all those cities are all requirements.
Does it cost more?
I know Provo's rates are pretty good. So,
But we're a member of UAMPS, so does it cost more to have them do everything for us?
there'd be a
Then
slight
For us
increase.
to pick and
There'd be a
choose?
slight increase on, their time for us, but I think it would be, I'm not saying negligible, but I mean, it's not gonna be outlandish either. They're very good at putting their costs out, putting them, to where they, I trust UAM, so I think it would be fair. So,
I assume it would, like if we're buying it wholesale, we get a better rate, so that would probably balance out the cost. Like if per megawatt's cheaper than what we're buying on the market,
yeah,
right?
on some of those purchases, yes, we would get a break because of, again, the economies of scale. So they're looking at, depending on how many people go to all requirements, they might be looking at, 100 megawatt purchase versus us going out for
That's
5.
interesting, they call it all requirements.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have to.
That's what-
Yeah, so if you were listening, which I know you all were,
We're losing our autonomy.
We're gonna call it the optional all requirement.
Okay.
it's just, we'll call it, UAS provides everything for you. It's a smorgasbord of, they provide it, you just bring up to the table and just. There we go. Maybe we'll have. And I think that's just an industry standard, but I know when y'all heard all requirements, I think some red lights went off. It's like, and I know this is the part that probably got a little even more, so we talked about that a little bit, but so here's the key changes for all requirements. No individual approvals for each power purchase, single power supply contract with UAMPS, and UAMPS manages full procurement, short, mid, and long term. And so they would definitely be, they do a good job of forecasting and, giving us things to look at going forward, but it would, so this is why it may be a better fit. This is their thoughts. Reduces procurement complexity, which I would agree with. Addresses market changes and smaller resources, what we just talked about. Allows members to focus on distribution, which we just talked about as well. And then project-based members are still available for those with, that have the staffing in place. So if someone maybe doesn't have the staffing in place, this is definitely a fit for maybe a small utility. We have the staffing right now, but it's intriguing. And then it's expected to be cost-effective, so minimal incremental administrative costs. That's what we were just talking about. So, and fairly based on effort. And then, of course, procurement savings from larger volume certainty. So it takes a lot of the uncertainty out of things, which is kind of nice. And this is the part that I think probably really red lights started going off when they said, okay, we're going to solicit member feedback. We're going to have draft and all requirements contract. We'll review the contracts, and by January 26th, we're going to have everybody signed up.
We're all there for this?
Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to probably talk to you all about that right when it was brought up, and it's like you're all thinking, oh, we're going down this road and there's no
Wait, tell
no
anyone
going
this is
back.
hard.
No, this is totally it's at our discretion.
hilarious.
We're looking at it and we're talking about it. It gets talked about every time we're at UAMPS. And so it'll
Oh, I
get.
thought the same thing. If I'd have been sitting there and thinking I should have had a little more knowledge than this. Oh, that's interesting.
But like I said, it's been talked about a few times in different meetings, but it's started to it's gaining steam now. And so it's something that they're
How many
really
people,
looking at.
any other cities involved doing it?
I don't think anybody has committed at this point that I'm aware of. I don't know of anybody that's committed. But just like I said, we're just exploring it, and maybe nobody will, and maybe there'll be a big chunk of people that do. I don't know. I don't know what other cities are thinking at this point. We're just in a hey, let's look into
I've
this
talked
and
to a
see.
few bigger ones that are not.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
You know which ones.
I'd be. Yeah.
So if we opted into this, how much say would we get in the power sources we get? For example, UAMPS decides we're gonna do 40 megawatts of coal, and we don't want that. Do we get any say, or are we just kind of stuck with that's what they're doing?
I think that's
Yeah,
what it
I think
means.
I think that would be.
Yeah, it said no approvals required for
Yeah,
purchases.
they get to.
All required.
They get to go out and acquire what's best, I guess, at that point. They're not looking at any coal right now.
Did they push this all?
Did they what?
Did they push it?
No,
Just
no, it was
present.
very high level.
Oh.
I mean, I think Mason did a really good job of describing it, and
You just
it was just,
kind of laid it out and
yeah. No, they don't. To them,
I didn't think they.
But-
it's totally up to the members.
all kinds
No.
of questions for me to
Yeah.
sign about.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things that we'll look at. But I don't know what it would take for us to get into this, because I mean we have so many different projects we're in right now. I don't know how unwinding all that works, and there even if you can unwind like IPA and some of these other things that we're in, I don't know how that works, and we haven't really talked about that. So it's just
You might be answering this. So, like our hydro plant, would that become UAMPS, or would we still have that? Or our
That-
turbines, our natural gas turbines?
yeah. That's all very very good questions.
Yeah.
That it might get. I don't know if that get lumped into the all requirements or not. That's a good question. That's something we haven't asked yet. So, but that's a very valid question, right? Especially where we're just getting to that point where.
Did you fix them before you take them away?
That's probably what you're waiting for.
We'll sign tomorrow. No, just kidding. So anyway, great questions. I think those are all questions that we have, and we'll talk through eventually. And I mean, it's probably, yeah, it's something that we'll look into. It would be something that we would come to you with eventually, but I don't know. I haven't got a good feel on this one yet, so too many questions. So then with that, any questions? I think I definitely see the benefits, and I definitely see it.
Takes away some of our control.
Right.
And that's what we want to
Yeah.
fight
Our
ourselves on.
independence.
It's kind of why we have
And
And we are independent.
For sure.
What did you say, Scott?
I think that's part of why we have a power company, because
Yeah.
we want to be
Yeah.
independent.
And we sure do.
Yeah.
And we've done a really good job over the years of
Yes,
taking
sir.
care of Murray. So it would be a huge monumental shift in change, and I don't think we're ready for that yet, but.
No.
Makes me
So-
uncomfortable.
The only thing that I can see is the real benefit is if the market pricing, if we can get a substantial deal off of it, but I don't know if we're gonna get enough. Like,
More control on what it
like,
is.
but if they're bundling a bunch of us together, that's where I'd say, but
Sometimes-
I don't know if it's worth the risk.
I'm not saying you have to do this, but I've seen other situations like this where it may not be best for us, but it sure is good for another city when they push.
Right. Like I can see like one of the smaller cities
Yeah, that's what
really
I'm saying.
jumping in on something like this.
For sure.
I don't think you'll see big ones, but that's my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go into another little topic real quick. So this is kind of what is driving the L requirements, is just how things are changing. Things are kind of getting out of our hands with EDAM. Matt will talk a little bit about that, and CAISO. We have to go wherever Rocky Mountain Power goes because they're our load serving entity, and so we follow them. So there are some things that are completely out of our control, and CAISO and EDAM are something that Rocky Mountain Power is entering into. So now that means UAMPS is having to, us as a whole and as a city, we're entering those markets as well, and they're very complicated. They're different than we've ever done them before. So that's a whole new horizon that's coming our way. So those are a couple of things that will help. Let Matt talk about some of those. So
Throw me under the bus. So
That gets the fun.
those are, as you well know, any meetings you go to at UAMPS or ABPA, there's numerous acronyms that get thrown around, and those are two that have been mentioned quite a bit recently. Is CAISO is the California Independent System Operator, and they work in conjunction with another acronym, the Western Energy Imbalance Market. Analogy I like for those is you all know what an air traffic controller does. Those entities are kind of like the air traffic controller for energy in the Western interconnection. So they make sure that loads are all balanced between different utilities and whatnot, right? Which became very important. The California one came into existence when solar became really popular in California, right? So they needed this whole new entity to balance all the solar that they had in excess during the day. They now export, right, and then bring in energy in the evenings. And so, as Greg mentioned, EDAM is an extended day-ahead market. So in these imbalance markets, there's already day-ahead markets that exist, but they are extending that. That will go into effect this next spring.
It's EDAM?
Yes, energy extended day-ahead market. So as Greg mentioned, because Pacific Corp is our balancing authority, it's kind of out of our control. They've decided to participate in this extended day-ahead market, and I won't get into the weeds of all the intricacies of that. I don't even know if I could, but UAMPS is doing lots of trainings every month at their board meetings where they're passing along information and how they're trying to tackle this. What the goal of that is, it has to do with resource adequacy and reliability and cost savings is the whole idea of it, right? It's a huge thing for UAMPS. They partnered with TEA, the Energy Authority, to help them tackle this. It has to do a lot with scheduling, and when we say resource adequacy, you can't be short. You have to have 115% of resources scheduled essentially, right? Or there's fines that will come down. So the question that we have is, well, how does this affect Murray, right? And so the answer to that is, in the short term, it doesn't apply to our turbines or our hydro. The turbines are grandfathered out, I guess, where it doesn't apply to the natural gas turbines or the hydro. Both landfill gas plants are lumped into the network model, but we don't own those. We just have power purchase agreements with those. So part of our role is getting the owners of those facilities, helping them to register for this EDAM, and so that they're in the model and everything. Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds. Like I said, I wasn't going to, but we will, just so that you're aware, two acronyms that you'll see continuing to pop up as you attend meetings, and we'll continue to provide updates as we learn more about those things, and specifically in how they pertain to Murray, right? So, clear as mud. Any questions about that?
Well, we got some new acronyms.
New acronyms, which
Pretty
is
excited
always
about
exciting
that.
for us. Yes, we love new
did you get
acronyms.
CAISO spelled correctly? CAISO.
You said the turbines are grandfathered in. What if we upgrade them?
Should still, well, that's a great question. As far as I know, they're still under the requirement where we would have to build new generation for them to be included. So some of the other UAMPS cities that have new generation coming online, they're their generators are being included in this model, but again, that could always change. It's our understanding that they would be excluded though, so good question.
Keep us up on this.
Yes.
We sure will.
Little by little.
As we
so,
learn,
you know.
we will,
Yeah,
we'll
do our best.
posted, so.
Thank you.
And we appreciate your interest. I mean, you guys are very well educated in our power department. We like that. So thank you. It's
pretty
complex.
important part
It's
of
very
our city.
complex.
Yeah.
So, but we're grateful for your interest in our department for sure. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What's happening with the 5-year plan? Where are we at after the gentleman passed away?
5-year plan. We are on fast track. We've been talking. We've got a new engineer on board, and so they're going to fast track that for
By
us.
the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're hoping it's done before whatever I'm going to say there. We're going to say, but yes, we're working with them on that, and thank heavens it's getting close again. So.
Good.
And in the conference, I thought it was very interesting when they talked about the fire mitigation.
Yeah, that one. So that really affects Rocky Mountain Power.
Yeah.
But what affects them affects us, right?
Yep.
So their transmission goes through some of these areas. So it's PS. Let's see, public safety power shut off. So yeah, they
Another acronym.
yeah PS.
That's a good one.
Write that one down. But they have the ability to
Yes.
just turn our power off if weather conditions are just right and they think something could cause a fire. They can open up their system, they'll let us know, and we have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So that's,
I-
fire mitigation it's on the forefront right now because it's expensive. It costs lives, it's expensive, it can wipe out, it can wipe out cities, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that's UAMS is helping us with that as well. So we met on fire mitigation and trying to do our part the best that we can, but we're really reliant on Rocky Mountain Power and how their transmission gets to us. So thank you. That's a good one.
Well, thank you.
And part of our citizens are on Rocky Mountain Power.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Person
Mundo.
right here.
Correct. As am I. So we want to keep our lights on, right? But yeah, I mean it's complex. This industry is so complex right now. It keeps you up at night. So
Yeah.
there's lots of things keeping us up at night. So that's one, right? So, and we won't talk about squirrels.
Nope, we won't talk about squirrels.
So anyway, thank you so much for letting us be here with you today.
Is there any other questions for the power? Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item is discussion on an ordinance amending section 17.24.050, 17.6.020, 17.100.020, 17.104.020, 17.108.020, 17.112.020, 17.116.020, 17.120.020, 17.124.020, and 17.128.020 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to the maximum number of children permitted at a licensed in-home daycare. Zachary Smallwood and David Rogers, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us again.
Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
so we're back.
It took so long, you're out of time.
Yeah, sorry. No questions, fine. We're back, just from last week, right? Yeah. So we got you the updated kind of flyer indicating, the kind of how the kids are spread out throughout the state. And also updated the ordinance so it was reflecting the right permitted and conditional uses.
The flyer should be right before your slides.
Yes. So we're happy to take any questions.
Did you find out what other cities are doing along the Wasatch Front in Salt Lake County?
They're nobody else does a full 16. I think there is one other city that does it, but most of them don't. It's kind of a smattering. It goes all over the place. 8, 12, there were some 14s, and I think there was one 16. Can double check.
But nobody does 16.
This is also this is a relatively new change at the state level. So sometimes there have been cities that just take on what the state requires and don't update their code. We haven't taken that approach in the past, where we just defer to the state. We usually like to keep our code pretty clean. Let's see. I don't have the research right on front of me.
So it looks like this was passed in 2022.
Yeah,
Well, 16, so it's 3 years away.
yeah.
Is the applicant following all the state rules now? From my understanding from you guys, that she is following all the state rules as of right now, right? And she's just coming to you for
From what I
having her
understand,
dig.
yeah. She has her license as she is right now.
Okay.
But she would like to increase to the 16, which for
But
the
she
state.
already has done that, correct? She
I
currently has 16.
think she is operating at 16, so she shouldn't be,
Yeah.
but that is her request. That's also why she came forward with the request.
So she's just being honest to
I
move
know,
forward.
16, that's a lot. It's a lot, I'm still not comfortable with it. That's why I'd be really curious to find out what other cities are doing.
Okay, so in the minutes, it's, Commissioner Hacker asked how many children Miss Blackwell will have now. She said she will have 16 children, so she doesn't have 16 children from what I've read in the minutes. Or- Go ahead.
I think what we should probably work towards is, discussing the text amendment, because I think she is operating with 16, but that doesn't really apply
Okay,
we would enforce that later down the road. If the council decides not to move forward, we would go and enforce that she can only have the 12 that we currently allow. And so I think looking at the request for the change is probably, where we should focus.
So
But I also think it's pertinent to know what other cities in our area are doing.
And I'm looking that up right now.
according to state law, we go up to 16. 10 of them have to be above the age of 2. So, you're only looking at 6 of them with 2 people who are in diapers pretty much. Well, I guess you're in a diaper still by 4, depending on the kid. So,
It's a lot.
yeah. So, but I'm just saying, there are a lot of kids that aren't, and it's not that dramatically different when it's a 6-year-old in daycare and at an elementary school. I think, or a 4-year-old. Elementary school a kindergarten class takes 20
Right.
with
But
1.
then you have 2, 3, 4 babies.
Yeah,
That takes a lot
but
of
that's
time
with 2
to
caregivers.
focus.
It does.
But then you have all the other kids too.
Mhm.
I just think it's too much. Makes me really concerned.
Okay.
well, with the shortage of daycare,
I get that. I
And-
understand.
there are preschools and daycares in here in Murray that do have more than 16 children.
There are,
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
yeah,
for daycare though,
yeah,
not
daycare,
preschool.
daycare. And this is what Miss Blackwell wants, right, is a daycare.
Correct.
She's not doing a preschool.
Preschool is allowed more than,
Right.
right, but not a daycare. Cause that also means babies.
They what?
That also means babies.
18 months or older.
So
Yeah.
here's some that we found. So Mill Creek allows up to 12, including their own. Midvale is 12. Draper, like I said, some of these are hard to read because their codes are a lot different. They allow 6, or daycare, for daycare, or preschool up to 10. And then Holiday, 6, for a small daycare, 12, including their own for a daycare/preschool. West Jordan only allows 4 if they're not licensed. And then, so this is the one, so it actually follows state code when licensed. And then Taylorsville.
So how many will West Jordan have if they are licensed?
It says state code. So if the state
So
comes.
16.
Right. So
Okay.
if the state comes forward and says you can have 362, then West Jordan goes, you can have 362.
62.
So they just follow state code.
Yep.
Taylorsville has 12 and a star. I'll go see. Site. It's okay. So this was my brain's getting back to this. It cites state code. So this is one of those instances where I'm not sure whether they're following the 12 or if they're actually following the state code. They could be doing either. Sandy, they have a category 1 and a category 2. Category 1 is permitted and allows up to 8. Category 2 is conditional and allows 16 to 18. And then South Salt Lake, all I could find was a category 2, and I don't know. So I couldn't really find out. Sometimes these codes are really hard to kind of comb through to find what everybody's trying to mean.
They
So
wouldn't tell you?
let's see.
And then are these just the places you looked, or
Yeah,
the other
we-
places?
This
didn't
is
have
all I
any?
looked. Yeah,
That's all you looked.
Yeah. So what was the one I just said? South Salt Lake. South Salt Lake. Okay. Category 1. Category 1. Yeah, I mean, all it really says is, category 2, regulations, primary use of the dwelling, and this is what we did. We took all these codes and sections and distilled them into what we think fits with the best for Murray, without getting so onerous. Because we do realize that they have to have their own, that the state has requirements. And that's some of the issue, right, is that whenever the state changes the requirements, then if we put too much that we're just copying the state, then we have to go back and change all those things to reflect the same with the state. Yeah, so I just quickly glancing over it, I don't see a number. Yeah, so I don't anticipate that one's confusing for South Salt Lake. So yeah, you have what, 3, at least 3? That probably allow 16 to 18 or 16.
And while we don't have category 1 and 2 broken out the same way some of these do, we do have different requirements based on the number of children. So if you have up to 8, you have to have 1 stall. If you have more than that, you have to have 2 stalls, different things like that.
So if we use the applicant as a case study, are we getting complaints from residents about traffic, parking? Have we done any complaints about that?
Not that I'm aware of.
So it seems like at 16, it's not really affecting that neighborhood. Enough that they're even noticing.
That they're
Or complaining, I
That
should
they're
say.
complaining.
Yeah.
to
Well,
us.
you would see that if there
Yeah,
was
that's a good point.
complaints,
That's a good point.
because everyone
Everybody
in the
signed it.
neighborhood has signed this petition to have this in their neighborhood. If there was complaints, then we would see them not so full of, so. I just think there's just a lot of lack of daycare for those that need to go to work.
And inexpensive daycare.
Yep.
But it needs to also be quality.
Oh,
Oh.
Children need.
Most definitely, I would never say that.
There's a lot of kids. Teaching people
And how many
with babies.
adults will there be?
The way that our code reads is that whatever the state requires them to have
Yes,
for an employee or caregivers is
Yes.
what we will allow.
okay,
Which I
So we're-
believe for 16, I think are 2 caregivers,
Uh-huh.
adult caregivers.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what my granddaughter is in for a daycare. There's 2 adults. And there's 5, 6 kids.
That's reasonable. That's 16?
But you have more people, correct?
Nope, 2.
For the 16?
Well, so I think what you were saying,
Yes,
that 5 or 6 kids for one person, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I think the point Pam is trying to explain, and I apologize if I'm speaking.
No, you go
out,
right ahead,
Is that
Zach.
if they're handling 5 or 6 kids, then technically 2 other people could handle another 5 or 6 kids.
But it's 2 per 16, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's still kind of what the state allows.
It doesn't mean that it's perfect, so that doesn't mean
For
it
sure.
fits for Murray.
And that's why we brought this forward. We do feel like the changes that we proposed and the applicant's request is reasonable.
Okay.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, because, we made sure we thoroughly vetted it and looking at things.
Have you had a conversation with Ms. Blackwell about having maybe one more person to help with 16 kids?
I did not.
Okay.
No. Any other questions?
How
for
did
us?
it passed through the planning and zoning, it passed, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I didn't read any,
Unanimous?
what?
Unanimous?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And I didn't read anything on their report that was outstanding. That would put up a red flag for me.
No, nothing that I could recall that really stood out.
And Ms. Blackwell is the only applicant that has come to you?
She's the one that spearheaded this.
Okay.
There are others that have signed there were others that are in support, which I think are in your packet. Those letters of
Yes,
support.
yeah, mhm,
That
yeah.
that are operating in Murray that would
Yeah.
like to have additional children as well.
Thanks for doing the extra work, guys. I
So
appreciate
do
it.
you think, I'm not done yet.
That's fine.
Do you think that some of these kids will attend to the public schools, being in the daycare? Would they go and leave the premise and go to the school, and that way it will relieve some of the pressure off of having 16 kids?
It's gonna be on a case-by-case basis, right, depending on
Right.
what kids they take. But I do know, because Ms. Blackwell did call me today,
Okay.
asking about this meeting, and she indicated that she did have a couple, I'll say a couple, I think it was a few, but a couple that were in school, actively in school.
So they're there
they're
at school from 8 in the morning
Yeah.
until 3:15, I think they get out
I
in
haven't
that
been in
area.
school in a very long
Well,
time. And I don't have children.
so they get
So
out
I
like
don't
at
know.
3:15.
Yeah.
So that relieves some of the pressure off of her home during that time frame. So she could take the 16 kids, because some of them do go to a local elementary school.
Sure.
Or the parents pick them up and take them to another elementary school.
Just to be clear though, that's not what our ordinance
Right.
proposes.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're,
Exactly.
it should be based on a full day's worth of kids that are not in school going to this daycare. Right? We shouldn't base it on the individual situation because
Yeah.
the code
Right.
allows.
That is true, yes.
But I want to pull on this thread a little more, because the state requirement is school-age children don't count toward the 16. So are
We would count them.
that's what I'm asking, we would still count them toward the 16?
16 is 16 is 16.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, yeah,
Like
In the
they couldn't
packet, they
have,
said.
you
Yes.
couldn't have 362.
Right.
And then you have, I can't do 16 minus 362 that quickly. So, 350.
Well, Paul could if he was here.
Yeah. 350 go to school and then you have,
Yeah. Okay. So good. Do what you're saying then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like we need options for our parents. Especially if it's in their neighborhood and it's convenient for them to drop them off.
I think the parents could probably be a good judge if it's a chaotic situation.
Yep,
They wouldn't leave their kids there anyway, so.
yep, exactly. Okay,
Okay. Awesome.
are we done?
Very much.
Great. So our next discussion item is on an ordinance amending the city's fiscal year 2025, 2026 budget. Brenda Moore presenting 15. Hi!
So this is the first budget amendment of the year. It's always the largest.
Yeah.
Basically because the construction season is the summer, the year ends in the middle of the summer. Things are in progress and some are gonna get finished, some don't. And the state does not allow multi-year budgeting. So we come in September every year and say, these are the projects that were being worked on or being saved for or whatever the case may be. And we need to reauthorize them to be completed or to be saved for the next year, whatever that case may be. So what happens with these, June 30th, we haven't spent the money, it goes into reserves. I'm coming in September, pulling those exact same numbers that went in out of reserves, unless I tell you otherwise and say it's a new project, or we've added funds to it. Some of these I actually anticipated we wouldn't get it all spent, like the Public Works building, so I had already rolled a bunch of their money and put it in the next budget, so the number moving forward is not $20 million, it's only 3. I left enough in for them to finish the year, and then from there. Some of the newer things on here in the grants, I will be adding a new one that we received after I did your original memo for an EMS grant for $3,889. That grant used to be up in the $10,000 to $12,000 range. It has slowly gone down every year as we get more population, as we get more entities, as we get less federal dollars being passed through the state. So,
So how much? Say the number again. How much?
3,889. That's half of what it was last year-ish. I did this year, I'm moving forward the alcohol funds that they haven't spent. They do have ideas for them, so they will spend. They spent more than we received. We had 2 years where we didn't spend anything. That would be called during COVID. And so now we're catching up and we're spending extra, but the chief has got some good projects that he's working on to spend more of that money. The JAG grant, we didn't quite get that all spent. The Brownsfield grant, we were awarded $500,000. I'm just appropriating $50,000 of that, so when they do have projects that they're working on it, they don't have to use their own budget. They have that grant budget sitting there. I did new stuff. We had some insurance changes, not many. IT, yeah, that is the effect of one person going from opt-out to getting insurance for a family, that $18,000.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Cemetery is similar, except for I think they went to two-party from opt-out. The water fund, something similar. Those types of funds, they're small enough. The police had some people change, but there's enough of those individuals that it doesn't affect. The library had some miscellaneous stuff for the director. And stormwater, this is that piece of property we're going to give away. It's just, we're gonna appropriate $170,000 on the book value. And that is just a purely budget entry. You'll have budget, there's no cash involved in this. So, the rest of them, various, you can go through, I could go through them all, it would take hours. Did anybody see anything they saw that they had questions about?
I did, oh, go ahead, Diane.
CED, the general plan update. So that's $175,000. And when are we gonna have a regular general plan?
Well, it's the general plan, we're starting to save for the general plan.
Okay, so
Update.
what's the update?
The update is when they're gonna redo the whole thing, so we put aside 1 year, 175 that we've just left in there. You'd have to ask Chad when they're gonna start it. It's about a 3-year project, and it's gonna be
I know.
about 400 something thousand.
No.
Yeah, we're planning to apply for funds through the Wasatch Front Regional Council in the upcoming cycle. So it'd be an award next spring, so potentially that following fall starting, so fall of 26.
So the 175 is going to,
Just sit there.
We'd go towards a match towards the.
so you're
Wasatch
gonna
funds.
accumulate
Yeah.
the 400 and, I know, it's so
We
expensive.
would not, we would hope to get a lot of that from Wasatch Front Regional Council through that grant process.
Great. Good deal, okay.
And that's one of those things that I have it there, it's sitting as a budget. I know he's not gonna spend it in the next year, but I don't wanna spend it again
that's the
somewhere
ones.
else, so I've gotta get it
So
out of
it's like a
my,
placeholder.
it's a placeholder.
Okay, thanks.
Any others that anybody saw that was,
The residents hazard mitigation along the Parkway?
that's the golf course,
The same question.
and it sits there. They were originally gonna do some tall fencing, so I have left it sitting there. We could pull it back if we need to.
Along the
To protect the houses or to protect the road.
Oh,
They're
gotcha.
having some
Yeah, 'cause
issues.
those one houses that won't move, yeah, gotcha.
We just get better golfers.
Right? Golfing lessons, there are a lot of golfing lessons.
So I'm letting it sit there, and if they find something that they need to do to mitigate even a different area of the golf course that we're not aware of, that we find, so I just let that sit there, it's
The
rolling
golfer's
forward.
responsibility if they hit something.
Yes, it is.
No, not necessarily.
Alright. I see the signs all the time.
Well, supposedly.
The retiling of the showers, locker rooms, and bathrooms at $130,000, was that in the rec center? Where
They are doing it right now,
Okay.
as we speak,
Okay.
yes. That is
So
in the
where are
rec
the
center.
swimmers going, the Murray High swimmers?
They're swimming outside right now.
Okay.
I think,
Outside.
I think
No,
everybody
that
lap
helps
swimming,
now, so
the
they can
pool
do-
is open, I just saw something come across my email feed that says, something, so the pool is still open, it's open until 8 o'clock at night in some nights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a whole changed little thing, so, yeah, but that's what that was, it is in the park center.
I had a question about stormwater. So 16D, 9th West is $50,000, 725 East is $95,000. They're both drain designs. Why is that double? The same project, one's twice as much.
One's a state road, one's not, one's further, one's not.
Okay.
It's the scope of what he's attempting to design, would be my, without having Trey sit here, would be my guess, is, the scope
Okay.
or the complexity that he's anticipating
Okay.
on the design. Yeah. And then the parks, I have adjusted the Parks Armory project a little bit. In the next one, it'll drop down to 255, they spent a little more money. The facilities, the Murray Mansion, I'm actually gonna raise that one back up, or decrease that one, sorry. The Armory project's gonna have 255,000 instead of 251 to roll forward. We moved some unrelated expenses out of there as we were looking through things. I may have another big adjustment. I just noticed today when I was working through them, there's a bunch of the streets, A through F, he told me to move it to maintenance, because they are maintenance, these overlays. But he also told me to move it to the general fund in the Class C money, which doesn't matter, it's all reserved for, it's either transportation it's reserved for, or it's Class C. He's on vacation today, so I can't double check with him that he just didn't typo it. So I'm going to check with him, and if he wants it in Class C, we'll move it, but those reserves are sitting there reserved for stuff anyway. So that may move, it may not, it may sit there. Some of these, if you ever see things and they say, well, it's still there, what they're usually waiting for on streets projects is the water or the wastewater to get done first.
Yeah.
And sometimes they take a little longer to get done than anticipated, and then streets just keeps rolling the money until they're ready to do the paving.
Yeah.
We're trying to be smart about it and not replace a road and then go dig it up the next year for a water line. So that's there. The new ones from reserves, E360 is gonna do business license software for us. They're the same people who do the building permits. And we'll be able to do everything online through the application process, send them their licenses instead of via mail and various other things. It's gonna be, I am told, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be much better for our citizens and our businesses. And so we need to pay for the implementation and then the first year subscription fee, which was not included in the budget.
And that leaves reserves at?
Oh, they'll stay right around 26%, I'll make sure.
I was just gonna ask that, what's left in our reserve?
I haven't calculated what I am moving over, but I already know I need to move more money than we anticipated over to reserves. I know that already, I just haven't done all the math. Okay,
So the MBA, we have 15,000 for projects on this building,
yeah,
including adding recording to the Cottonwood room.
upstairs, because we ended up with a scheduling process that we can auto record here, we could auto record there. Couldn't use the Cottonwood room was just cameras. We have now added recording capability because both of these were scheduled and they needed a meeting. So we thought we would do one more room, hopefully that you could live broadcast a meeting.
Because
So,
I'm just thinking, this room works about 20% of the time.
well, I hope the new system with the different installers or
Because
whatever.
I'm just looking at that money
We have a lot of
thinking,
people
it might be better instead of Cottonwood to get this one working.
Well, that is what, that one was only it was only 5,000 or 6,000, and then I left the other 10 to just sit here and wait for the next thing. And then this will be the last year you'll see anything for City Hall.
Okay.
It'll all go away. I will just roll it into the project for the other.
And the issue is not so much that there's 3 meetings going on that need to be recorded at the same time, it's that this room is being used for some great community events, and there's no place to record at that point, so we have things like hearings officers meetings and design review committee meetings that we need to be able to hold at the same time.
All I'm saying is, I want this room to work. Before we add, let's get this room to work.
We're with you.
We're with it. And then the capital projects fund, that 615 from reserves for the purchase of that building to make it a parking lot.
Yep.
We're gonna buy a lot of buildings and make them parking lots. I think there's a song about that.
Flatten it.
Real good.
Paradise.
But I don't know if they're paradise. I do not know. And we're actually gonna move a little less money for the Public Works project because another bill came through. They got it last year. Any other questions about this? Okay.
Nope.
And if anybody sat and did the math, I just did the math again and they all add up and add them, so.
Never question you.
Now I have to go and look.
I know.
Go do it.
Spreadsheet. Put it all in there.
Be
Okay,
up all night.
you'll see it, public hearing next meeting.
Okay, with any other questions for anybody? Okay, this meeting is adjourned.